So can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
What we had done in the last class was the electronic configuration. So did you practice the electronic configurations in your home? Have any difficulties in the electronic configuration?
No, sir.
What about the others? Do anyone of you have any difficulty in electronic configuration? No answer. I assume that you do not have any doubt. So basically, so we have completed the chapter. Okay, we have done everything from the chapter. Today, we'll just tell you, I'll be telling you the important things that you have because it's a long chapter. So I'm to mark out the more important. Then it should be start from the beginning. Okay. This you need to have a basic idea. Then what we mean by isotope key, what we mean by it is a isobar, then isotones. This you need to have a basic idea. That will be more than enough. Okay, about isotars. And then into the cathode phase, no need to read so much about it. Just know who discovered it. And just give one reading. That will be more than enough about this cathode phase. Similarly, for the anode phase also, you can read the property. These are not important at all. Anodres just know who discovered anode and then again see the properties of anode. That will be enough. Thomson's model is not important. So the first important thing that you get that is your Rutherford scattering experiment. This is important. The Rutherford scattering experiment is important. So this you need to know what Rutherford actually concluded from his atomic model or the diagram, everything about Rutherford's atomic model is important that you need to know. So Rutherford is very important. It can come in your exam also. Then how neutron was invented, not necessarily as such. Then what we mean by a wave and all this also not needed. Here too we just learned about them so that we can apply it. Is you need to know the formula. That this formula is extremely important. Nu is equal to C by lambda and mu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. Just those two formulas will be more than enough. Yes, then about the electromagnetic spectrum. So over here, definition is not needed, but you need to know how they are arranged. Okay, that is from gamma to radio waves. You need to know the order of this. This is extremely. Now, this also no one is going to ask direct question from this, but you might find application of this electromagnetic spectrum in the question. So that's why you need to know the order. Okay, so then we have the Planck's quantum theory, which is again extremely important. Planck's quantum theory is extremely important. E equal to h nu, that particular formula, and even this formula from the photoelectric effect. This is also very, very important. Please read through this. Practice the numericals. You will get numericals on your book from the Planck's quantum theory. So please practice those numericals from the NCERT book. Similarly, there will be numericals from photoelectric effect. So you have to practice them also. See, the theories are done. You have done the theory. You do not even read the books to see these notes. Now, what you need to do is that is you need to do practice. Much amount of practice is needed. Yeah. This you need to. Without practice, nothing is going to happen. If you do not practice, then it's not going to happen. Theory, whatever theory you need to know, Everything has been taught. So now the time is to apply those theories. For that, you need to practice numericals or various type of question has to be practiced. Okay. Anyways, then is the evidence for the quantized electronic level, that is the absorption spectrum and the emission spectrum. So this sometimes comes as an important question, that is the difference between the absorption and the emission. So you need to know the difference between the absorption and emission spectra has to be done. Please do that, the absorption and emission spectrum. Then we come down to Bohr's theory, which is again extremely important. The Bohr's theory is very, very important. You can get even theory question from Bohr's theory. Sometimes they ask about this condition, MDR is equal to NH by 2 pi. This condition can only be asked. Or they can even ask you about the three postulates of Bohr's theory. So you need to learn about them also. Then this is again extremely important. That is the relation of radius, velocity, and energy. So this table is very important. And if you are thinking of like giving competitive exam after your class 11, 12, then so like even more important. So yeah, you have to like remember this theory, memorize this theory, and apply them. By the way, is anyone thinking of like giving competitive exams after 11, 12 to like join engineering or medical? Hello, yes, is there anyone? I couldn't hear your answer.
No, sir.
You are, that's not a problem. Even then, you need to know that particular thing. Then you have the drawbacks of Bohr's theory. So this is also an important theory. That is, Bohr's theory completely is important for your level. Okay. Then you have your hydrogen spectrum. The hydrogen spectrum, which is Rydberg equation. Now, this you can be guaranteed that you are going to get one numerical question in your exam from Rydberg equation. So that's why Rydberg equation is very, very important. Perhaps the most important topic of the chapter till this much that we have discussed. So Rydberg equation is extremely important. It's like 98% chance say in your exam you are going to get numericals from Rydberg equation. It's very important. Rydberg equation. Obviously, numericals from Rydberg equation. So for that, you need to know the theory. You need to know the theory. Only then you can apply the Rydberg equation. So yes, we have done few numericals. We have done numericals in our class also. We've done the different types of numerical above Rydberg theory. It's very important. Guaranteed. Numerical will come in your exam. Then is the wave mechanical model of atom. So yes, numericals that can even come from de Broglie. That is this equation. Theory, they are not going to ask you. They will be mainly giving you numericals from de Broglie. The de Broglie, this formula and the numericals can come. Okay. And we have done numericals also. Easy numericals. These are very easy numericals. So nothing to get sharp about. Then the relation between the kinetic energy and the de Broglie wave. The relation between kinetic energy and de Broglie wave. The two formulas are there in de Broglie. The questions can come using those two formulas. Then you have the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So there also numericals can come using this particular formula of Heisenberg. So yes, numerical can come using Heisenberg also, as you have done one numerical over here in class. Then you have the Schrodinger wave equation, which is not important for your level. And then you have the principal quantum. So from here, so everything is important. You need to know about the principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and the spin quantum number. You also need to know how many electrons a particular shell or a subshell or an orbital can actually occupy. Now, although the thing is that this you need to know, because without knowing, you will not be able to write the electronic configuration. That is why these things you need to know only from quantum number. Then you have your this difference. Then the Aufbau principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, and Hund's rule. Now the thing is, from quantum numbers to Hund's rule, these things you need to know for the sake of being able to write the electronic configuration. Because if you do not know this, you won't be able to write electronic configuration. That's why knowing this is very important. Okay. So motamoti these are the important things of this particular chapter. If I'm to jot down the main points or the main important topics that you need to read, that will be so the first important thing that you should know is Rutherford. Then Planck's equation, and photoelectric effect, then atomic spectrum, force theory, difference, Rydberg equation, de Broglie, Heisenberg, quantum number, quantum number, and electronic configuration. So numericals can come from Rydberg equation, de Broglie, Heisenberg, Planck's equation, and photoelectric effect. So these are the four topics from where you can get numerical. And also there is a slight chance that you can get numerical from Bohr's theory also. So these are the important things that you need to know from the chapter. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean that the things that I did not mention as important, you are not going to read about them. Those are also equally important. These are just more important. If those are important, these are very important. That's all. You need to know everything. Nothing is like you cannot do selective study over here. Okay. So I hope it's clear to everyone. Okay. So did you everyone understood what you need to read more carefully, which topics?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So then kindly read through the chapter. Then read the chapter thoroughly. And then if you have any difficulties, any doubts in any topic, please let me know. Okay? So we'll then discuss that topic briefly. So, yeah. And for like the other ones, we joined late. So you please see through the recordings. You have the recordings available. See the recordings. And I hope it will become clear to you. Okay. So I think that's about our atomic structure. So now we'll be moving on to periodic table. Periodic table. Periodic. Can you tell me about the law of periodic table? What is the law of periodic table? You have done it in class 10. Do you remember? The
So
most, say.
the element are arranged in, according to the increasing atomic number.
Yes. So according to the modern periodic law, elements are arranged, you're saying, in according to their atomic number. So that means they are periodic function of their atomic numbers. So the physical and chemical properties of an element are their atomic number. So physical and chemical properties of an element of their atomic. So physical and chemical properties of element are periodic function of their atomic number. So this is also known as the Moseley's periodic law. This is also known as the Moseley's periodic law, which says that the physical and chemical properties of element are periodic function of their atomic number. Okay, that means the same thing only that you told, that they increase, they are arranged in increasing order of their atomic number, and after certain interval, what you're going to see is that the properties are going to repeat each other. That is why it is said periodic properties. Okay. Okay. So now, since we are doing about the periodic table, what we now need to do is we obviously need to write the entire periodic table. Let's write it down. So how many periods are there in a periodic table? A periodic table, kota periods are there? How many periods are there in the periodic
7,
table? Yes, so there are total number of 7 periods. And how many groups are there in the periodic table?
18.
So there are 18 groups. Let's draw them first. Now let's number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 1 left, 18. So we're putting on 18. So we're putting on 18. Then let's put the period number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what is the first element of periodic table? It is hydrogen. So let's fill it up. We'll be starting with hydrogen. After hydrogen, we have helium. So go on telling me. After helium, we have
Lithium.
then
Helium.
beryllium. Then we have boron,
Boron.
Yes.
carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. After neon, what do we have? What comes after neon?
Sulfur.
Not sulfur,
Yes. Sodium.
sodium. After sodium,
Magnesium.
then
Aluminium.
then
Silicon.
then
Phosphorus.
then
Chlorine.
sulfur, then chlorine, then argon. After argon, what comes after
Potassium.
argon? Yes, potassium, then
Calcium.
calcium. After that,
Cadmium.
cadmium, then titanium. Then you have
Vanadium.
chromium, vanadium, chromium. We have done the electronic configuration. You should be able to say them one after one. Then after chromium,
Manganese.
then iron,
Iron.
then
Cobalt.
cobalt,
Nickel.
yes,
Copper. Zinc.
Zinc.
so this is till 30. So till 30, we have already done the electronic configuration. Until 30, you are going to remember it in this. That is one after the another. 1, 2, 3, 4, like this we are going to remember. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, like this. But after 30, you do not remember it in this way, then it becomes very difficult. That if you remember after zinc, what comes after zinc, then if you do it in this way, then it's going to be very difficult to remember. So what you do is you remember down the group. That is from the top of the group, we remember till the bottom of it. We remember it group wise, we remember it after 30. So now let's fill up group 1. What will be the elements of group 1? Lithium, sodium, potassium, and below potassium we have rubidium, and after that we have cesium. So lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and below cesium we have francium also. Then see beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radon. Then let's fill the noble gases. What are the noble gases? Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radium. Then what are the group 17 halogens? It is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, AT. Then oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bis- carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. So you remember down the group, you have to remember. Group wise, remember. Then it's easy to remember. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, helium. Then let's fill this middle part. This is zinc, cadmium, mercury, copper, silver, copper, silver, gold, nickel, palladium, platinum, cobalt, rhodium, iridium, iron, ruthenium, osmium, manganese, rhenium, lithium, rhenium, chromium, molybdenum, tungsten, vanadium, niobium, tantalum, titanium, zirconium, hafnium, scandium, yttrium, lanthanum, actinum. So this is the entire periodic table. Okay. So this is the entire periodic table. So now the question is, do you remember to, do you need to remember everything? So now that's a trick question because you need to remember, but you also do not need to remember everything. You need to know group one, group two. So group one and group two, you need to know. Group one, group two. This you need to memorize. Group 17 you need to memorize. Group 18 you need to memorize. 13 you need to memorize. 14 you need to memorize. And till 30 you need to know. So you need to know till atomic number 30. And group wise you need to know 1, 2, 13, 14, 17, and 18. For your class 11 you need to memorize this. Okay. And for class 12 you also have to memorize 15 and 16. Okay. So this you need to remember 1 to 13 to 18, something that you need to remember. But for group number 3 to 12, from 3 to 12, there is no such compulsion for you to remember. You might or you might not. So from 3 to 12, if you want, you cannot even memorize the element. Only the first period will be enough. That is scandium to zinc you memorize. But after the below ones, that is 5 and 6, if you want, you can even leave them. You can leave them if you want to. Because it's not compulsory for your class 11, 12. But if you are thinking of giving any competitive exam, then so you obviously need to memorize. Anyways, so now when you see the periodic table in any book, here you see a symbol is given. Let's give a star on lanthanum, and on actinum let's put a hash. And then below you have different elements. Then below the elements are written. So for example, like lanthanum, then by the star they will write. They will put the star here, and then they have the elements. And these elements are these two obviously you do not need to remember. I'm just writing it down. This is cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, arbium. This I forgot the name. Ytterbium and lutetium. So like this, after lanthanide, they put a star and write this element. So these elements, all these elements are together known as the lanthanide series. So all these elements together form the lanthanide series. These elements together form the lanthanide series. We will read about each of them, what they mean in the upcoming classes. And if we put the hash over here also there are elements, and these are called the actinide series. So you put a hash over here. It's called the actinide series. So now the question is, what does this star and hash mean? It doesn't mean anything technical over here. It is like, say, when you also write your paper or when you write in a copy, what happens that if you forget to write something, you put a star mark and write it below or write it at the end of the answer. In an answer, suppose if you miss an important point, what you do is you put a star and write that below the answer at the end of the answer. So here also same thing. So the star after lanthanum means that the 14 elements that I have written of the lanthanide series, they are over there. After lanthanum, you have the lanthanide series. But it is difficult to fit them within such a small space. That is why we have put a star and written them below. And similarly for the actinide series also, a hash mark is given over there to indicate that the actinide series is there after actinum. But since it cannot be fitted in that position, that is why it is written at the end, that is at the below the periodic table. Now, obviously, you can interchange the sign. You can put a hash, a star, anything. That doesn't matter. The basic idea is that after lanthanum, you have the lanthanide series, while after actinum, you have the actinide series. So I hope the basic idea of lanthanide and actinide series is clear to everyone. So now let's see some further details about the periodic table. These are all GK type things that you are seeing basically. I'm not going into any technicalities today. Okay. So the group 18, what are the elements of group 18 called? The elements of group 18 are known as noble gas. The elements of group 18 are called noble gas. So these are the noble gas. Noble gas. Okay. So what do we mean by the noble gas? Now, in some books in your lower classes, you might have also learned that they are called inert gases. So, but do not use the term inert gases now. Inert means something that does not react. But today it has been found that even these noble gases, can also form chemical compounds. So that means they are basically not inert in that sense. So hence we cannot use the word inert gases over here. Rather, we use noble gases to represent group 18. So the another name for group 18 is noble gases. Okay. Then group 17 is called halogen. This is the halogen group. Halogens. After the group 16, you have chalcogens. It is called chalcogens, called nitrogen. These are all nickname kind of thing. The group 17 has a nickname which is halogen. Then 16 has a nickname which is chalcogen. So this type of, so it's a nickname about this four groups. Group 13 and 14, they do not have any such nickname. Then what is group 1 known as? Group 1 is called, this you know I guess, called alkali metals. Group 1 is known as the alkali metals. And group 2 is called the alkaline earth metals. Alkaline earth metals. Now from group 3 to group 12, these elements are known as the transition elements. Transition element. So these elements are called the transition element. Okay. Then if you see the copper, silver, gold. See, in the prehistoric times, in the past, copper, silver, gold was used to make coins. The copper, silver, gold was used to make coins in the previous years. That is why these are called. Just again a nickname kind of thing. That is, these are called coinage metals. Coinage metals. And zinc, cadmium, mercury. These are called borderline elements. So these are called borderline elements. Now, why do we call them borderline elements? That will be discussed in the upcoming classes. So borderline element. So yeah, so this is the total basic idea of periodic table. So is it clear to everyone? Although I've just simply written down the table, nothing as such to understand over here. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So our periodic table has 18 groups and 7 periods. And what you need to memorize is from 1 to 30 you need to memorize, and then 1 to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All these groups you need to memorize. So this is like your homework for today, that you memorize these elements of the group. Okay, you should be memorizing these things. I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
That's nice. So, so I won't be proceeding anymore today. So I'll be stopping here today. And on a Sunday, we are going to see more about this periodic table. Today, so we just wrote the periodic table, but on Sunday, actually, we'll be understanding the theories. What do you mean by S block element, P block element? All those things will be discussed in your Sunday class. Let me write it down here on the table for now. That this are together called the S block. Group 1 and group 2 together is called S block element. S block. Transition elements are also known as P block elements. And This one, that is your group 13 to group 18. Together they are called your P block element. Block element. And lanthanide and actinide, these two together are called F block element. So as you can understand by the word SEDF means there is some involvement of the orbital concept over here. So before the Sunday class, I want every one of you to be very, very confident about the electronic configuration and the position of the elements that I told you to memorize. Okay, I hope it's clear what you have to do. Please read and please not keep any backlogs over here. And you regularly copy down these notes after sir sends it to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do not just depend on the video classes. You need to copy down the notes. Okay? Preparing notes and writing these things is extremely important for class 11, 12, 11. In class 10, you do not need to write these notes and all. But for class 11, 12, writing the things that are done in class is extremely important. Why is it important? Because see, whenever you go to write these things, that means you're at least reading it once immediately. So you read it once while writing, then you can have doubts over there. And in your home also, whenever you are practicing, whenever you are reading, please write and practice. Okay, do not just read from the copy or the book. You need to write and practice. If you do not write, suppose the Rydberg equation, or if you do not practice those electronic configurations by writing, then you will see that you cannot write the correct answer. That is why please write and practice in your home. You write and practice when you study in your home. When you do self-study, you write and practice, or do you just read from the book or copy? Hello. Do you write and practice, or do you just read from the book or copy?
Sir, write and practice.
Okay, so then it's a good thing only that you write and practice, because any science, be it physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, none of the science can actually proceed without you do not write. Okay, so that's why please write and practice. So that's it for today. So then I'm disconnecting the call. Okay, so then I'm disconnecting the call. So bye then, everyone.